Well, we're gonna push through this because I really want to get your interview. I want to get the people out um, to who you are and what you talked about. So just really quickly, I want to introduce you to to the audience again. Have you just talk a little bit about who you are, and then we'll get into our conversation about you writing the book that you have and being an author and all of the great things that you're doing. Could you hear me, Mr. Pfeiffer? Can you hear me? Uh-oh, he might have frozen up. Um, okay, I think we lost him for a second there, but just trying to do live. Can you hear me, Mr. Pfeiffer? You're on mute. You're on mute.
How you hear me now?
Okay, yes, sir. We're good now.
Okay.
I know,
Still the same.
but I know. Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you. You're loud and clear.
Good.
Yep. So if you want to introduce yourself again to the folks, tell them just a little bit about who you are, and then we'll get into the conversation about your book.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Harold Phifer. I'm the author of Surviving Chaos, How I Found Peace at a Beach Bar. I'm from a small town in Mississippi called Columbus, Mississippi, kind of on the northeast side of the state. I guess you could say about 60 miles west of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I went to Mississippi State College, Mississippi State University. Then I went to Jackson State University from there. And I was lucky to get a job in air traffic control. So I did most of my work in Memphis, Tennessee. So from there, I bounced out to Houston and did about 6 years there. Then I came back to Louisiana, small town in Louisiana. And so I was kind of tired of it, a lot of issues, unfortunately, some racial problems. And I wanted to get out of it, and I want to get out of that loop. So I decided to retire there and do it internationally. So I did that doing contract work. I'm now in Afghanistan. Surviving chaos is about, I guess you said, all the it's actually about my mother. The big story that keep coming to is about my mother being schizophrenic. And
Okay.
so a lot of it has to do with dealing with her, trying to get through the day, dealing with my mom and her schizophrenia. And it's a book, a bunch of short story, and it branches off in a lot of different directions. But this, the story or the elephant in the room is always the schizophrenia.
Now, what got you started writing? What made you start to say, "Hey, I want to take this thing that I think I have in my head and story to actually start writing start writing surviving chaos."
The weird thing, I was always an avid newspaper reader. And, you read these columns by Wickham and Pitts, and you sitting there thinking, I think I can do this. So in your head, you're thinking you can write a little bit. And, be- and being that I had a weird upbringing, I always told myself, man, I need to write a book about this someday. And I never did. Just always thought about it, always saying one day I'm gonna do it, and never did it. Just always putting it off, putting it off. So I get the job in Afghanistan, and the place where we were living got hit by a suicide bomb or big truck explosion. So we're thinking, we're gonna die, we're gonna meet our maker, and I talk about it in the book, Surviving Chaos. So while I'm sitting there, the weird thing, your life flashing before you, the weird thing was I was telling myself, man, I never got the chance to write that book. And it was like my promise with God, if I get out of here, I'm gonna start writing. And that's what got me writing.
Oh, wow, wow. Now, um, now was this your first book that you've written?
Actually, this is kind of like the sequel, to be honest. The
Okay,
first
okay,
the first one I wrote was Sleepwalking Out of Afghanistan. And it's
okay.
kind of its own like its own same course, but this is more deeper and more extended and more probably more humor than drama. This one, you know.
Now, I want you to talk. Well, since you've written several books, what was your experience like after you've written that first book, having that book in your hand? After you've gone through it, you've gone through creating that manuscript, and you were holding that book in your hand. What was that experience like for you?
Oh man, it was like getting a blue rhythm or you know, at a track meet or winning a trophy. You know, it was just a jubilation that you know I did this, I completed. It's a good feeling, and you know the thing, and because you're so connected, nobody knows that high. You know, other authors do, but you know, no one that you're
Mhm.
around you can share that high with. You know, except it's just you. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what made you want to write Surviving Chaos? What was the thing that said that took to you since you've written the other book? But what was specific about this book that you said, I've got to write this book or I want to write this book?
It was well, almost everybody in my life, or how you say, just messed up. So,
Mm,
so I had to dodge all these bullets, you know, from my mom, my aunt, my dad, uh, other relatives, friends. It was just
mm.
chaotic. And that was day to day. It wasn't just one moment, it was day to day. So, you know, looking back, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm jumping through hoops, surviving chaos, jumping through hoops every day. And it was such a wear on me or it was, you know, such a weight to carry until I met this guy at this beach bar and he brought it out. He just started asking me questions. We're sitting there drinking and I spill it all out to him. And, you know, once I did that, like, okay, I need to write this, you know.
Now, meeting him at the beach bar, which is actually your subtitle, talking about that experience, that experience, and everything like that, and having him, what was the trigger, I guess, having just, was it just having that conversation with him and made you kind of come to the realization of what it was that you wanted to do in regards to writing the book? What was so different about that conversation than other conversations that you might have had before that made it kind of triggered you into writing this book?
After I survived that explosion, I took a hiatus. I went to Thailand. And there's the beach bar. So you still going, I'm going through PTSD.
Okay, okay.
So, you know, and you know, you sitting there, you're lucky, you thinking you thanking God, you know, I'm blessed to be alive, all that just in you, but you know, but there's no one you're talking to. And I'm sitting there at this bar and this guy come by and he strikes up a conversation. And basically I poured it out on him. And
Mm.
so that, you know, it's like it needed to come out. He just happened to be there with the drink.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, can you tell us just a little bit about the book? What the book is about?
Like I said, ultimately it's about my childhood of dealing with a schizophrenic mom
Mm,
and the thing she did, the thing I witnessed, and she was just schizophrenic. I mean, she took it to me. You
okay.
know, every opportunity to embarrass me, she did. And So I had to survive that. I mean, and I was quiet. You know, I wasn't shy. I was just quiet because I didn't know, you know, when the next shoe was gonna drop. You know, so I'm always trying to read her, trying to read people, and kids are not nice when they know you got something bad going on. If you got an uncle and in the back room that they think is crazy, they gonna let you know it. Well, I was the guy. They let me know it. You know, so writing it, getting it all out, basically reliving my life, basically what I did. But I wanted to take people along where it would be entertaining, not just, telling a boring life, because we all got stories. But I wanted to take you along and show you how much weird it really was, and make you laugh in the process.
Well, well, right. You definitely want to do that, and that's fine. Now, in writing this book, um, what do you want the reader to come away with after they've read, the book? What do you want them to come away with from reading your book?
Resilience, just being resilient and having self confidence. Um, if you believe or you want something, stick with it. I'm not saying don't seek advice, or you know sometimes you have to change your course a little bit. But if you believe it and that's what you want, stick with it, go after it. Um, and the other part would be, if you know someone that's sick, with schizophrenia or what, or any kind of mental or physical, try to get them help.
Mm.
And no one ever got my mom help. So I had to go through it for years. Even as an adult, I still had to deal with it.
Now,
So yeah,
let me ask you this: What does and this is a two-part question. How did
okay.
you come up with the title "Surviving Chaos"? And then, what does the title "Surviving Chaos" mean to you?
Uh, like I said, it was, there's a bunch of other titles I wanted to give it,
Mm.
but then I was hoping to give it a title that most people were curious or maybe can relate.
Hmm.
And because, we all go through chaotic things, whether it be marriage, whether it be work, whether it be, someone messing over your money or trying to, uh, problems on the job. We all go through all kind of chaos. So I wanted a title that hopefully that resonate with people. Um, but what it means to me, and this is kind of heavy, but what it means to me, surviving chaos is I made it, I'm alive, you know, and because of so much went on, hopefully that resonate with people. So much went on that, as you read through the book, and you hear all the time, coming from the hood, and we all say, I'm lucky to be alive. And that's definitely how I feel. I'm lucky I'm not in jail. I'm lucky I'm alive. I mean, not that I was a bad person. It just the weight of everything that went on could have got the better of me and sent me in another
Hmm.
direction.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to, if you could, since your book is on surviving, and more specifically surviving chaos, can you give us and give the viewers three keys to surviving chaos in this day and time? As you know, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and those things. And let's take it from you having the fit, like you said, having the family that you had, and growing up the way that you grow up, to actually to now, in the pandemic that we're dealing with. Talk to those two different dynamics. Talk to that person that may have the family that they're going, has some difficulties, and then that individual that may have some difficulties going through this pandemic that we're going through right now. What do you think are three keys to surviving?
Wow, wow, that's a good one. Well, but only you have to, I would say, prioritize those battles. Okay. There's some that you can try to avoid, some that, you gotta deal with. And, there's some that, maybe, I can give it, address it a little bit, but not go full speed ahead into it. Um, and for sure, if you got somebody that you can talk to, but that's one of my regrets. I was telling my nephew, I said, I didn't have a relationship with my dad. I said, it wasn't about, I met my dad when I was 21. I said, it wasn't about money. I said, I never had anybody to talk to. I said, I never had anybody give me advice. I said, that's what I needed when I met him. That's the only reason I met him. Well, a little bit about money, but I was 21, and I knew how to hustle a little bit, but it was about, I don't have anybody to talk about issues, racism, you know, should I stay in this place? You could look for a job, and nobody. And it was so back to the question, like I said, if there's somebody, people, person, or people in your life you can talk and share, it'll make you mentally better. It'll make you a little healthier. And their insight may be something that you hadn't thought that you haven't thought about. You know. Um, so yeah, I would say only fight the battles you have to. If there's someone that that you can talk to, share, get advice, use that to the utmost. And if you can find a way, not drugs, not alcohol, to get some relief, you know, as they say, a getaway or go visit a relative, go to the beach, a picnic, just something that give you just a moment away from that craziness in your world.
Wow, wow. And those are just some powerful three keys. Now, what advice would you give to an aspiring author or writer who says, "Mr. Fife, I got this thing in my head. I got this book in my head, and I'm trying to figure out how to go about telling my story." What would your advice be to them?
Um, Write it whenever it hits you, or if write it, record it, whatever. Um, the weird thing, you've been the strangest places when, as they say, that muse or that inspiration hit you to write, to talk, or whatever, and say 30 minutes later you forgot part of it, most of it. So that's the weird thing. If it hits you, try to write it, try to record it,
Mm,
try to get it down somewhere.
right.
Okay. Um, and and try to write as much as you can. Like I said, believe in what you're doing or what you're writing. Um, because one of the things, whatever you're writing, the average Joe may not like, and they may,
Mm,
but you may have a unique style of writing that people like, or you may have some unique stories, like um, like Harry Potter. Like the lady that did, wrote Harry Potter. I mean, she has her unique stories, and then people jump to it.
mm.
So you never know, you know, with the average person. I mean, I wasn't necessarily a Harry Potter guy, but million of kids are, so so what I'm saying. So had she read it by me, I'd be like, no, I don't like. But there's an audience. That trust me, there's an audience out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what's next for you? You have anything that you're working on now, or that you have out, or that you're thinking about doing?
I have a fictional book out
Okay.
called it's called Fool Me Thrice, like Fool Me
Mm.
3 times,
Oh wow, I like that. I
and
like that.
it's under the pseudonym Dean Conan,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
so try not to. I mean, it's not hard to figure out who who Dean Conan is, but trying to like kind of separate him a little bit, from, and it's almost a 180 from Surviving Chaos.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
but once you kind of but once you read the book and kind of get to know me a little bit, yeah, you can make a connection. It just, Surviving Chaos would probably be, and what do you call it? What do they call it? Uh, PG-17 or something like that, whatever the ratings are. And Fool Me Thrice, that one would probably close to X-rated, but it's, I'll say, about R-rated. So they're
Okay.
very different. Yeah.
Now, I want you to actually, if you can, talk a little bit about the other books that you've written. Did you stick to a specific kind of genre for your books, or did you kind of have where they are different kinds of books that you've written? I'd like for you to talk a little bit about the other books that you've written too.
Okay. Um, I wrote two that's somewhat, like you say, just a novel, um, kind of nonfiction and fiction. So I would say just a general novel, and wanted just straight up nonfiction. And I, like I told my nephew, I said, I probably won't release those unless I become famous, because once again, it's about those two about my life.
Uh
I said, people don't want to read books about you unless you're famous. I said, so, but
Very
I'm,
true.
so I love the books, but nobody's going to buy, more than one memoir or biography book,
Is
so
that
no.
is that almost like an artist or painter? Their paintings don't become don't become notarized
Right.
until they
So they pass, right?
they,
so,
but
so
I want you to, if you could, tell people how they can purchase this particular book, Surviving Chaos, or any of the other books that you have out there. How can they purchase them?
right. Surviving Chaos, yeah, you can get on Amazon, you can get it online, Amazon, you can get it at Barnes and Noble. You can go to my website, which is randrfreepress.com, and buy it. Um, Same thing, Dean Conan. You can buy it on my website. Once again, randrfreepress.com, or you can buy it on Amazon. The ebook and the Audible is on. Well, the ebook is there right now for Fool Me Thrice. Like I said, Fool Me Thrice by Dean Conan, and that's a story about this guy, the son of a funeral director. He passed quite a lot of money, but by him being a womanizer, he loses all his money. So he's trying to find his way back. So, and in the process of trying to find his way back, a lot of his love interest, pops up. So that goes in that direction. Okay.
Now
Um,
that sounds really good.
yeah, I mean, I knew. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I swing between genres, and I know I can write probably more fiction than nonfiction,
Hmm.
but and I plan to write more fiction. Um,
Hmm.
Matter of fact, I'm trying to do a follow up to Fool Me Thrice right now.
Okay. Now, I want you. Can you talk a little bit about your do you have? I'm assuming you actually probably do, but can you talk just a little bit about your writing process? Do you have a particular process that you go through or that you went through with your books that you've noticed in order to be able to complete them?
Kind of still working on that, but I have a weird sense of humor, first of all, which
Okay.
may not seem it, but I do. And so I go around people, when I try to find material, I kind of hang out with people, kind of listen to them, hoping I hear a story.
Uh-huh.
And in my head, I'm saying, okay, I could write that a different way. Oh, or write it similar.
Hmm.
Okay. So, matter of fact, some of my coworkers was laughing at me because I told them that I said, I said, I brought some of y'all stories, put y'all some of y'all stories in pages, you know. And they thought I was joking until I showed the story. So, so they laughing at me, and but anyway, I said, I write it in a way, like you can't get royalty, you can't sue me, but I just changed the story, but I wrote it in a way, but it gave me, the insight in where to go with the story. So I'll do that, or maybe I watch a little TV for a little while, or play music. Does a lot for me. I play a lot of old school, um, and in the process, I'm, and just sure luck. You know what? A lot of it come to me in my dream. Like, okay,
Mm,
you want to go this way, you want to write this, yeah. So it's not a exact science. It just kind of happens.
mm. Now, and we'll end it here, and then I'll have you give your contact information one more time, because you,
Sure,
you have such
sure.
a, to me, surviving chaos sounds like such a powerful message. With you talking about your family and everything like that, and what you've overcome and what you dealt with. What words of encouragement can you leave um, for that individual that may be dealing with a dysfunction either with themselves or even within their family dynamic, and being able to survive it and to be able to come through it as you have, and as my mother says, on the other side of through, getting to the other side of that, where where you can smile the way that you're smiling. You get this big smile on your face. You're in the place that you are right now.
Right. Don't ever stop visualizing or imagining. It's gonna be a point. It's gonna be better. Don't allow yourself to think there is not a better or a victory or in this for you. If it's something you know deranged or violent, then no, you don't want to go in that direction. That's not the victory you want. But I always knew I would have a better life, and it was, I was around people who had it all, around people who had, and all, even meaning had both parents, had loving parents, did things that I couldn't do.
Hmm.
But in somewhere in my head, I knew it was going to be just as good or better for me at some point, and I never lost sight of it. And so, and that's something, believe in yourself and don't lose sight of it. You know, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Okay, how do I
Hmm.
get there? How do I get to this point where things are better?
Hmm.
Where where I see myself as a success, or I don't know, a great person, or a great husband, or a great father, or a great mother, or a great wife. How do I plot it out, you know, and try to follow it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, if you could give your information one more time, how people can connect with you to have you come speak, or have you speak, because that's definitely something that I think that people need to hear about, and then also how they can purchase the book.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, my name is Harold Phifer. It sounds like Michelle Pfeiffer, but it's spelled different. It's I give it in phonetic, and that's Papa Hotel India Foxtrot Echo Romeo Harold Pfeiffer. Um, Matter of fact, my email is Hotel Echo Papa Hotel India Foxtrot Echo Romeo at yahoo.com. And my website, once again, is aura in aura freepress.com. And like I said, the name of my book is Surviving Chaos: How I Found Peace at a Beach Bar. You can find it on Amazon. You find it on Barnes and Noble. Like I said, you get it on the website. Um, like I said, send me an email, whatever, text. I'm on LinkedIn, of course. I'm on Facebook. Even my personal Harold Phifer is on Facebook, and I'll respond. I get back. We'll make arrangement, or I can tell you more. Where to find the book, where I'm gonna be, whatever you need to, whatever information you need.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Pfeiffer, this has been an awesome conversation. I thank you again for joining us on the Authors Showcase, brought to you by the National Black Unity News. He will be in the coming issue of the National Black Unity News. You can actually go to the website, which is www.tnbun.com. Subscribe to the newspaper so that you can actually have your copy of the newspaper, and then you can also go to our YouTube channel, which is the National Black Union News, and you'll see the emblem. That'll be what you'll be able to tell what the YouTube channel is. You'll be able to go there as well. You'll be able to see other authors that are part of the showcase that we're just so blessed to have be and come and have conversations with us, bringing you just hopefully some messages and missions that these authors are bringing to us, and it'll be able to enlighten you, it'll be able to empower you, and then impact you in some kind of way. Because each of these authors that have come to us and have talked, each have had their own individual powerful missions and messages and movements, motivations that they have for why they do what they do. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed by any of these books that you read from the author showcase, because these authors are just phenomenal, and we're so glad to be able to give them this platform to be able to showcase who they are, and more than just their book. So when you buy that book from Mr. Harold, when you're sitting there reading, you'll be able to go and listen to this podcast, and be able to say, wow, he talked about this and he dealt about that, and it's more than just having the book. So we thank you all for tuning in. And as I always say, this is 2021, you all, and it's about leaving the familiar and to elevate your influence. And what better way to elevate your influence by reading a book, by learning about an author who has and is touching people in a great influential way. So it's your boy Leroy McKenzie Jr. We want to thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll talk to y'all next time.